Hi everyone, Abby here from Realizing Health and Wellness. This is part 2 of my core videos. This core video is going to go over 6 exercises for an intermediate level. So maybe you've mastered all those 6 core exercises I did in my first video and you're ready for something a little harder. Or maybe you have some experience with doing core exercises and you have a good foundation. This would be a good place to start. So before you watch this video, make sure you read my blog about core, what our core is, why it's important, and why we should incorporate it into all of our workouts, or at least a couple times a week. And it also gives you an idea of how many to do and the progressions of the exercises. So the first exercise we're going to do is a plank hold. Now I went over this in the beginner exercise video, but I'm going to go over it again. So once you're at the intermediate level, you should be able to hold a plank from your toes, okay? If you can't hold a plank from your toes, go back and watch the beginner video, go over the cues for doing a plank from your knees, and then progress from there. So again, you do a plank. You want your elbows right under your shoulders, and you want to, whenever you do a plank, you should think about pushing up through your elbows. Pushing up through your elbows is going to spread your shoulder blades apart, and it's going to engage all your mid-back muscles, and it's going to help stabilize your whole spine. If you don't, you're going to have the tendency for your shoulder blades to come together, and you're going to sag, and it's going to put a lot of strain on your shoulders and your back. So elbows right under your shoulders, up on your toes, push up through your elbows, engage those back muscles. When you push out from your elbows, you should feel like your shoulder blades are spreading away from your spine, okay? So what you also want to do, keep that core tight. Think about drawing your belly button in towards your spine. Squeeze your butt muscles, squeeze your leg muscles, push, and look straight 6 inches ahead of you. You don't want to be looking down. You don't want to be looking up. You want your spine in a neutral position. So you hold in this position. Your spine should be flat. Somebody should be able to put a broomstick along your back and it won't fall off. You want to make sure your hips aren't too high, and you want to make sure your back's not sagging, or that's going to put a lot of strain. So if you do it correctly, I can feel myself shaking a little bit already. You're going to do this and you're going to hold for as long as you can, but the goal would be to hold for 1 minute and do it 3 times. Next exercise is a side plank, okay? So the forearm plank works a lot of muscles. It works all your stabilizing muscles, but a side plank is going to specifically work on those obliques, which are your side muscles that come down in this diagonal pattern that help with twisting motions. So just like with the other plank, you're going to keep your elbow right under your shoulder. You're going to keep your feet together. You're going to come up in here. I like to put my hand on my head because it keeps my shoulder back. The most common mistake people have is they roll forward or they're way too extended back. Now my back is really tight, so I have a hard time twisting that way. But when I find I get tired, my shoulder falls forward. So the best thing I think you can do is to keep your hand on your head, keeps your shoulder back, keeps you in line. Some people also like to put their hand up like this, okay? When you're doing this, you want to think about squeezing these muscles, okay? So think about bringing the top of your hip towards your ribs, okay? And you're going to hold. Now, this is a great one to do in front of a mirror because as you get tired, you don't always feel it, but you start to rock forward and backward. So with that visual input, you can make sure you're in a nice straight line. Now, some people like to do it with their feet staggered like this. You can. I feel like it puts more stress on my knee, so I like to keep my feet stacked. So make sure you're going to do both sides. Other side, same way, elbow right under your shoulder, push up, hand here, I like my hand here, and hold. Okay? Next exercise is a side crunch. So what you're going to do, you come all the way down, arms straight, your feet are going to be out at a little bit of an angle, okay? So easier way to do it is bring your arm one leg and back down. Squeeze and back down. Exhale and back down. Now, if you want to get a little fancy, both legs and back down. Both legs and back down. Keep those feet, try to keep those feet glued together. And forward and back down. Again, when you do this, you should feel it right here. And it's okay to push a little bit through this arm when you crunch up. I would suggest you start with one leg so you can get the rhythm and you can feel what it's like. It's a lot harder to coordinate both legs. I can still feel it with just the one leg. And you want to make sure with core exercises, you always go slow. And again, same thing on the other side. Arm, you want to make sure your legs are at about a 45-degree angle. Up and down. Remember, exhale when you do the work, and inhale on the way down. Next exercise, we're going to do a slow mountain climber. So mountain climbers can play, I can see my cat trying to get into the room, can be a great cardio exercise, but when you slow it down, it is a phenomenal core exercise. So you're going to get a high plank position. So biggest thing with this, you want to make sure that your shoulders are over your elbows, which are over your wrists. As we get tired, we tend to get more into this position. So we're in a nice core. So what you're going to do, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, squeeze, inhale, exhale. When you exhale, you want to think about squeezing all of your air out of your lungs and clenching those core muscles and then coming back. Okay, and the slower you do it, the harder it is. In this position, you have almost every stabilizing muscles working. Your shoulders, your back, your glutes, your calves, your hamstrings, your quads to stabilize you. Now you want to make sure you keep your hips nice and stable, and when you bring it in, you're not dropping, turning, or anything. It's straight forward and straight back. Scissor kicks. Next exercise is scissor kicks. So, you're gonna lay flat on your back. So to start, get your hands right under your butt a little bit, sides of your hips, legs straight up, rest your head down, and you're just gonna go one leg all the way down until your heel is hovering right over the mat, and then back up. Other leg, back up. 1, 2, 3, up. 1, 2, 3, up. When you bring your leg down, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Now, again, like we talked about in the first video, you want to make sure your back stays flat, pressed. When you lift your leg down, you don't want your back to arch, okay? You always want to push it down. Now, if you feel like you have a hard time, you can move your hands up so they're right under your low back, and you will be able to feel if the pressure on your hands decreases. So in this position, you should feel lots of pressure on your hands, and as you lower your leg down, that pressure shouldn't change, okay? Now if it does, and you start to feel yourself arching, then go to the point where you feel the pressure on your hands start to decrease, and then come back up. And work in that range of motion until you have enough strength to keep the back pressed all the way down and then all the way back up. Now, if you want to get a little more advanced, what you can do is come up so your shoulder blades are off. I like to keep my hands kind of out to the side, and you're going to do it from here. Puts a lot more pressure on your low back, so you need more core stabilization and coordination to get it done. And the last exercise we're going to do is a Russian twist. Now you can do it without any weights. So you start back, nice and straight, core engaged. Lift your legs up, take your hands
you're gonna go twist. So you're like you're trying to put something in your back pocket, and then back up and twist the other way. And back up and twist and back up.
Or you can use a weight. I have a 15-pound weight here. You're gonna hold it, legs up.
You're gonna twist so you can press that weight on the ground, squeeze back up, and the other way.
Now, at the gym, maybe you see some people doing this. That's not going to engage your core. That's just you twisting your spine and putting stress on your spine. Slow and controlled. Squeeze. You should feel it. Squeezing the side and then back up. And twist and squeeze and back up. What you want to do is keep your eyes looking forward. So it's just your core and your shoulders turning and then back up. Turn. See, even I have a hard time doing it. Turn. Turn. I hope you enjoyed these exercises. And I hope this helps give you some guidance of some great core stabilization exercise you can start to incorporate into your exercise routine. Thanks. Have a great day.